Evening's showcase. We are very excited to have a dance number performed by students that are involved in the Summer Adventures in Learning program this summer. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed our student showcase tonight by students participating in the Summer Adventures in Learning program. Let's give those kids another round of applause, please. The time is now 6:16, and the Belton Independent School District Board of Trustees are now convened in a regular board meeting on Monday, June 12, 2023, in the Pittenger Fine Arts Center, located at 400 North Wall Street, Belton, Texas. A quorum of board members is present. Please note that Rucker Preston is absent. This meeting has been duly called, and notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our live stream viewers to this meeting. As the Belton ISD Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees held in public, not a public meeting. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items may not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. This meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear matters discussed. These proceedings are being live streamed on BISD's YouTube channel, and a recording of the meeting will be available on the district's website in the days following tonight's meeting. For the video to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking, and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening, and for your interest in Belton ISD, please rise for a moment of silent prayer or meditation. Please remain standing as our communications team introduces students from the Summer Adventures in Learning program, here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and honors to the Texas flag.
Yes, I'm going to invite Harper Warwick up here and Haley Maldonado. Come up here, girls. Harper's going to lead us in the pledge to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, girls. Before you sit down, I want to tell you just a little bit about these girls. They both attend Tarver Elementary. Harper just completed 3rd grade. She loves math and art. She enjoys swimming, and her friends say that she is neat, nice, and funny. And Haley here stepped in at the last minute to lead us in the Texas Pledge, and we very much appreciate her showing those Journey of a Graduate qualities right there. She likes to dance. As you can see, she's going into the 4th grade, and her friends would say she's friendly and kind. Thank you, girls. You may have a seat. The first item on the agenda is recognitions. We ask that everyone remain in the auditorium until the conclusion of the recognitions. Thank you. Once again, let's give it up for those kids that did the dance from Sale this summer. They did a fantastic job. As our board makes their way down tonight, we're recognizing 16 students who earned 60 college credit hours through the Texas Bioscience Institute Middle College program. We are incredibly proud of these guys. They are pursuing careers in STEM, and they've done an excellent job. Congratulations, guys. And parents, feel free to take pictures as well if you'd like to. Got it? Congratulations. Thank you, guys. You may have a seat. Our next group that we're recognizing tonight are students that have been recognized by the Texas High School Coaches Association. They are academic all-state recipients. These students earned a GPA of 92 or above. From Lake Belton High School, we have students earning the honor in baseball, softball, girls track, and boys track. Tall ones in the back. Congratulations, guys. I know your parents are really proud. Next up from Belton High School, we have students earning all-state in baseball, tennis, and girls track. Come on up for a photo. All right. We are also recognizing tonight the Texas High School Women's Powerlifting Association Academic All-State recipient. She's from Belton High School, Jocelyn Quintanilla Madera. Congratulations. Our next recognition, we have some students that qualified for state and academic UIL. We have UIL Academics Literary Criticism, the state competition students. Taylor, I don't believe Taylor is here this evening. So we'll move on to the boys golf state qualifiers. And unfortunately, they're not here either. One of them is actually in Ireland this evening, so I couldn't get out of going to Ireland to come to our board meeting. But we congratulate all of these students anyway. They did a fantastic job, and their community's very proud of them.
Let's give those last two a round of applause, too, please.
Our next recognition is the UIL track state qualifiers. We had students from Lake Belton High School. We had 7 athletes compete at the state track meet. Kendrick Jones completed the 100-meter dash and finished 4th. And in the 200-meter dash, y'all, he placed 1st. We have a state champion. Congratulations. Easton Hammond competed in the high jump, finishing 5th. Leilani Watson competed in the triple jump and placed 8th. Abigail Rydberg competed in pole vault and finished 7th. And the 4x200 relay consisting of tie leg, Micah Hudson, Dawson Cabade, and Kendrick Jones finished 3rd in state. Congratulations, guys. We're super proud of y'all. And now we are recognizing the UIL Powerlifting State Qualifiers. Congrats to Belton High School student Isaac Jones and Jackie Myers for placing in the top 5 at the state powerlifting meet. Senior Isaac Jones finished in 5th place, and junior Jackie Myers placed 4th, matching her personal record in total weight. This was Jackie's 3rd year in a row to qualify for state and the 2nd time to place in the top 5. Congratulations. And we are also recognizing this evening the Texas Association Pupil Transportation State Medalist. North Belton Middle School is celebrating Isabella Alvarez for being awarded the Division III place at the Texas Association Pupil Transportation, that's hard to say, poster competition. Congratulations. For our department showcase this evening, we are recognizing our facilities department. Facilities and construction is composed of various technical and trade professionals that are responsible for maintaining over 2 million square feet of space, including our 19 campuses and 28 ancillary buildings. They are a fantastic team, and we are really proud that they are part of the Big Red community. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, board, stay put. Now we're going to recognize our new administrative hires. We have Miss Sherry Ogden. She's joining us as the Director of Special Education. Sherry, come on up and have your photo taken with our board. Sherry has a Bachelor of Arts in Educational Psychology from Widener University and a Master's of Educational Psychology from the University of Houston. She has 35 years of experience in education and comes to us from Georgetown ISD, where she was a 504 coordinator. Welcome to the Big Red community, Mrs. Ogden. Thank you. Up next, I'm very proud to announce Steele Hankton has accepted the position of Lake Belton High School principal. Steele has a Bachelor's of Art in Biology and from the University of Texas and a Master's degree in Educational Leadership and Policy from the University of Texas at Arlington. She has 17 years of education experience and comes to Belton from Lockhart ISD, where she was a high school principal. Welcome, Steele. Our next recognition is Miss Debbie Younger. She's been hired as the principal for Sparta Elementary. Debbie has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Agricultural Education from Fresno State University and a Master's degree in Pre-K through 12 Administration from the University of South Dakota. She is in her 26th year in education and joins us from Rogers ISD, where she served as an elementary principal. And finally, we have Felicia Gibson. She's been hired as the principal at Southwest Elementary. Felicia has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Interdisciplinary Studies and a Master's degree in Educational Administration from Texas A&M. Whoop. In Educational Administration. She also has 17 years of experience in education and comes to us from Taylor, where she's also served as a principal.
And now I get to have a special recognition tonight. So it is an honor for me to be here, and I am here tonight to recognize Mr. Jeff Norwood for 2 years of service as our board president. Over the last 2 years, we've been through a whole lot of stuff, and Jeff has provided steady leadership, thoughtful leadership, and one of the most important things for me in all of this is his leadership is always focused on the outcomes for students and how it impacted students. He does a really good job of ensuring he's advocating for public schools and advocating for Belton ISD, and he's always student-centered with a definite focus on how we also support our staff to make things perfect for kids in the classroom. We know Jeff's passion for FFA and for our ag department, but we also know his passion for the experiences that students have every day in every classroom in our district. It's also important to note that he does a really good job picking on me on a regular basis. So please join me in thanking Jeff Norwood for 2 years of being our board president and leading us through some really challenging times. Thank you, Jeff.
We got to go do, vision. Great.
Based on policy BED local, we will take public comments regarding items on the agenda at the beginning of the meeting, and comments regarding non-agenda items will be heard at the end of the meeting to allow the board to conduct the business of the district. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? No? All right. Let's move on to item number 4 on the agenda. Vision, empower each and every learner to pursue their dreams and enrich their communities. Aaron will initiate discussion around vision and then open up for board discussion. Aaron?
Yes, yeah.
All
So
right.
I'm gonna take the lead on this. So like we've done in the past, where Dr. Smith sparks a conversation about something important like our values and beliefs or our goals or journey of graduate competencies, we're gonna start having a board member lead some of those discussions. So I'm gonna do the first one today, and it's gonna be on vision. And so, which it states, even though it's in front of you, it says empowering each and every learner to pursue their dreams and enrich their communities. So I know that we're all really familiar with what a vision is in regard to a business or a system like ours, but as I was preparing, I decided just to go back to foundation and look at the meaning of and what's the purpose of creating a vision. And so according to a couple of sites, a vision statement is a company's guiding beacon. It zooms out to give perspective on the overarching goals and ideas for the future. So my takeaway is that our vision is the ultimate guiding factor in the work as a school district. So no pun intended, it's the line leader, right? So to speak. So and everything else falls behind it, right? So and when the work that is aligned, like our goals, our values and beliefs, if it aligns behind that vision, then we're headed in the right direction. So my conversation I thought that we could talk for a few minutes about today was, so other than our goals, our values and beliefs, our journey of graduate competencies, those are guided by our vision. So think about, my question is, what are some other important work that we do, that we focus on as a board or even as a school district that falls in line with our vision of empowering each and every learner to pursue their dreams and enrich their communities. It could be on a large scale, a small scale. A couple of things that I thought of was our board policy work. I think that falls in line with, as long as it falls in line with our vision, then we're headed in the right direction. So what are some other important work that we do that aligns with our vision?
Just from a broad perspective, I just think about the graduations that we just experienced recently and listening to some of those speakers talk about the things that they were going to do and their visions for the future. I think that pretty much, graduation sums it up for me because of all the work that has been done from their earlier formative years up until graduation. So once we get to graduation, they're well on their way to go ahead and look at accomplishing whatever's needed for those visions. So for me, it's graduation.
Yeah, so, I know that our staff, our HR staff particularly, has done a lot of work on the attracting and retaining of high-quality employees. And that's part of our vision, is that we want the best employees. We want them to know exactly where we're headed, and we want them to be empowered to get there. And I think we do some really good work in that area. I really want to compliment our HR staff in making sure that we're always focused on bringing in the best and keeping the best and making them happy to be here. And, over time, we think that will continue to fulfill our vision.
I think that, one of the things that the board is involved in, we don't necessarily do it, but we're certainly involved in, that is the approving and the working with admin to come up with and support the different programs that we have within Belton ISD. Because each and every kid in our district wants different things and they enjoy different things. And it's important that we keep giving them these programs and these avenues, be it through, academics or extracurricular. And, extracurricular, we keep expanding that because it means so much. That is what keeps so many kids in school. And I think that's part of it is to keep striving. This year we added several things with the business incubator, the drone program. I mean, every year we keep adding stuff to get these kids involved so that this is their community and they can thrive in it. I think that's important.
All right, so not to repeat anything, I think our role as a board and the governance factor and sort of the oversight and monitoring piece of it, right, really goes into this. How do we know we're doing this, right? And so we ask for and we hear the reports about what's going on, what's going well, what's not going well, what are we doing to course correct to make sure that we're getting back on track, if we are off track, both from an academic standpoint and from a community standpoint, right? I mean, it's everything from, we get the taper reports and all this kind of stuff, right? But we also get the athletic community service report, right? And so we're kind of looking at, are we doing this? Are we seeing the results that hopefully this vision is laying out? And I really enjoyed that aspect of it particularly.
Anything else?
If I could add just one thing, one of the things that I've been so proud of in our community in the past couple of years that I've noticed is how our students give back to the community as well. On numerous occasions, I know we have had community service days. I think they were even doing them as recently as this summer when kids are already off for the summer, and we have kids that are volunteering in the community giving back. And so when I see this vision statement, and I know how much it meant to our board to empower our learners, but also not to forget that the whole goal is to actually enrich the community that they live in. Whatever community that might be for the future, we want them to give back to the community and make the community a better place to be for everybody. And I'm super proud of some of the work that I see in our students volunteering their time with their coaches, with their different sponsors, with their advisors back in our community.
Just to add a couple of things to that, I think that to be able to accomplish some of the things that are in our vision, we have to work together. And the thing that impresses me the most about this group up here is the responsiveness, Matt, that your staff gives us, that your administration gives us, that you give us. So anytime that I have a concern about something that happened at one of the schools that was relayed to me, the thing about it is that you jump right on it. And unless we're on the same page, that's not going to happen. So I really appreciate that, not just from you, but from the administrative staff as well. They're always very responsive to anything that we need, anything that we ask for. And just like Chris said, if we ask for something, I mean, I know sometimes it puts more work on them, but they're always very responsive, and I appreciate that very much. Anything else? Thank you, Aaron. That was very insightful. Thank you.
Very well done.
Yeah, well done. All right, moving down to item number 5, action items. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding guaranteed maximum price number 3 for Southwest Elementary addition.
Trustees, as you know, Mike Morgan's been walking us through this. We've had a couple of GMP items for Southwest Elementary School, so we could move that project along quickly, and this is the third and final GMP for Southwest.
Thanks, Dr. Smith, Mr. President, Board. My pleasure to be here tonight. So we are coming back to you for the third installment of the guaranteed maximum price for Southwest Elementary additions. This includes all remaining work necessary to complete the project. Formal proposals from our trade contractors and suppliers were submitted to our construction manager at risk, Core Construction, on May 30th, 2023 for this third GMP. The bids have been assessed and scoped by Core Construction, and the guaranteed maximum price number 3 in the amount of $10,749,004 is proposed for Southwest Elementary Addition. This does keep us on pace for our target of a completion in summer of 2024 and a move-in for the 2024-2025 school year. So I would ask you tonight that you approve this guaranteed maximum price number 3 for the construction of Southwest Elementary Additions funded through 2022 bond proceeds.
Any questions? Do we have a motion to approve the guaranteed maximum price number 3 of $10,749,004 submitted by Core Construction for Southwest Elementary Addition? Mr. Norwood, we have a second? Mr. Floor, and for the record, Ms. Bass will abstain in this voting. Any additional discussion required or needed? All those in favor? That passes 6-0, no opposition. 5-0, I'm sorry. I forget Rucker's not here.
One abstention.
Yeah. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the selection of construction delivery method for campus safety vestibules. Dr. Smith?
I forgot, I was supposed to introduce Mike again. He's not going to go
Oh, okay.
anywhere for
All
a
right.
few.
Okay.
And so we'll leave Mike up there. Mike, take it away.
So he's there for 2 or 3, right?
Well, just for this one, I think.
So I'm here to ask for the board to approve the recommended delivery method for one of our most important bond projects, and that will be the creation or the construction of secure vestibules. At the conclusion of this project, all campuses and our transportation department will have secure vestibules at their facility. The new campus vestibules for the 14 were included as part of the 2022 bond safety projects. The administration tonight recommends that we use competitive sealed proposal as the delivery method for these projects. We do believe that this, on the scope of work that we anticipate and the size of the project, we do believe this will attract the most competitive bidders and be of best value for the district. So choosing this delivery method will be one step closer. And as I'll cover in the bond presentation later, the minute that construction documents are ready, we will put our bid process in place and hope to come back with you very soon for a contractor if you recommend this competitive seal proposal as the delivery method tonight. So I ask you to take that action at this time.
Do we have a motion to approve competitive seal proposals as the delivery method for the campus safety vestibules and authorize the superintendent to issue a request for competitive seal proposals, establish a selection committee to evaluate and rank the proposals, and bring the recommended ranking back to the board for approval and contract authorization? Do I have a motion? Ms. Lee? I'm sorry.
Can I ask
go
a question real quick?
ahead. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so Mike, just to be clear, this is one procurement opportunity, not 14 different opportunities.
That's right. Yes,
So
we've used one designer and one set of engineers to work on this, and then we will use one contractor to come up with the tightest and fastest schedule, quickest schedule to get all 14 done as soon as possible.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Lee, same motion, right? Do I have a second? Ms. McDonald? Any additional discussion? All those in favor? That passes 6-0. We go to item C.
Thank you.
Is that going to be you, Mike? No?
Nope.
Okay. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding 2023-2024 compensation plan.
Board, I'm welcoming Todd Schiller tonight to give you a brief update on this, and then I have some comments that I'd like to share afterward.
Is there a good evening, board? So tonight, before I begin to cover the highlights of the plan, I would like to add that we have not received any additional funding from the state at this time, or a basic allotment increase, and so that greatly has influenced the plan that is being brought to you tonight. So first, so the recommended salary increases would be a $1,200 increase for all teachers, which averages about to a 2% salary increase. And then a 2% increase based on midpoint for all professionals and administrators. A $2 increase for all school nutrition employees on top of their hourly rate, so $2 on top of their hourly rate. And then a $1 increase for all other paraprofessional and auxiliary employees on top of their hourly rate as well. We'd also increase substitute pay, $25 per day across the board for all substitutes, whether they're non-certified, certified, or degreed. And then we'd also increase our TRS Active Care Health Plan contribution from $400 a month to $410 per month. And that will allow us to be able to maintain 2 free plans offered to employees at the employee-only level. And that is the plan that's being presented tonight for your approval.
Todd, I also want to make sure we also had some adjustments to stipends, et cetera, in there as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We had stipend adjustments that we've shared briefly regarding special ed and some cheer stipends, and then we have some market adjustments with mainly our paraprofessional and auxiliary staff, including some educational aides.
Excellent. So, Board, I just also wanted to add, and Todd mentioned this at the beginning, the proposal that you have in front of you tonight is not where we want to be right now, and I think you all know that. The fact that the legislative session concluded and we have no additional dollars despite 2 years of very rapidly increasing inflation impacts on school districts across the state of Texas is just not acceptable in my point of view. We are living in a time where costs increase for everything, and they're increasing for the families and our employees at the school district as well, and we want to be able to do more for our school district. It is our intent to win, and I say win very deliberately, when the legislature realizes that they need to fund public schools adequately and does so appropriately in a special session, it is our intention to come back to you all and add on to the proposal that you have in front of you today. We know that this is not reflective of the quality of work of our staff in Belton ISD. We know that the quality of work is outstanding, and we want to be able to pay our staff more than what we are actually proposing tonight. We do believe that this also is pushing us as a system to step out there in a time where we have gotten zero new dollars. We are still promoting and proposing a pay increase, and a very substantial pay increase for our auxiliary staff and for our paraprofessionals and our school nutrition staff. This is not a small raise for those people, and we realize that, but we also know, and we've said this repeatedly every year, we have to keep chipping away at this because we know our employees continue to deserve more. And I just want to be very deliberate about saying we are not satisfied with where the legislature ended on this year. We will continue to advocate for increased dollars for our basic allotment for every school district across the state of Texas. And we hope that someday we will actually be funded above the national average for public schools rather than where we are right now. And we'll keep advocating for that because we believe our employees deserve it.
And Matt, for the public's knowledge, for those that haven't followed it, can you elaborate a little bit on the special session? Tell us what you know.
Yeah, well, the governor has the ability to call special sessions, and we're in special sessions right now, and those topics that can only be discussed are what the governor outlines in those special sessions. He has, at this time, not prioritized public education funding for a special session topic. We continue to advocate, and we will continue to advocate for that to be addressed in a special session coming up, because with a $33 billion plus budget surplus in the state, the fact that public education received zero new dollars in the basic allotment despite the inflation impacts is perplexing to me.
And wrong.
And wrong.
Yeah. All right, any further discussion on this issue?
Well, just one thing, and I want to reiterate, I'm not speaking for the board, but I feel like I am because I know how this board feels, and I just think that we need to have it on the record. What Matt said, he's speaking from the administration side, but from the board side, that the employees understand that we have their back, and that the minute the state stops playing political games with their pay, that we will have a meeting, we will increase again if the state gives us more money. You know, we waited this long because they've done nothing towards teachers' pay, but I think that it's important that all the employees of the district understand that that wasn't just Matt talking, that the board, you know, we back you on this. And the minute that they give us whatever money they give us, you know, we're going to come back and we're going to make this as good as we can, because none of us are happy with what we're having to hand down right now, but our hands are tied. You know, we're not sitting on a bucket of money and you know, just trying to hold on to it. I mean, this is not where we wanted to be, and as a board, I think it's important the community realize that this is not right what the politicians are doing to our teachers and to everybody who works in school districts across the state, not just Belton ISD.
And we've all been to the Capitol in the ear of Hugh Shine and Dr. Buckley, trying to make them, you know, come our way, but, you know, sometimes they can't get the support that they need as well. Right. Okay. Let's see. Do we have a motion to approve the 2023-2024 compensation plan as presented? Ms. McDonald? We have a second? Ms. Bass? All those in favor? That passes unopposed.
Thank you.
Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding SHAC recommendation for human sexuality instruction on prevention of child abuse, family violence, dating violence, and sex trafficking.
This is Dr. Deanna Lovesmith, in case you've forgotten, and she is here to help us work through this topic. This is a continuation of an item that she presented on in a recent board meeting.
Yes, good evening. So sorry. I thought we were at that. If you'll just, don't mind just a second, let me get us there. Did I mess us up?
And that concludes the superintendent's report for this evening.
I am so sorry. I apologize. I don't know how I got that far off. I'm about to just end it. I don't see it in
Keep
there.
going back. Keep going back.
I apologize.
Well, it's not there.
It's not in there. Well, good thing I can do it somewhat from memory.
Excellent.
So tonight I am coming to you to bring the recommendation for SHAC for the 7th and 8th grade curriculum. As you'll recall, we in April brought to you a recommendation for our 6th grade curriculum, and at the time, the 7th and 8th grade curriculum was not approved, therefore was not available for review. And so therefore, since then, it has been made available, and our committee has reviewed it. In order to get here to promote the EHAA human sexuality, you must follow several steps. The first would be to for the board to convene a resolution. You all did approve a resolution last October. From there, we've held 2 public meetings. We've also met the requirement for that there was a review of the curriculum by all of SHAC. We reconvened SHAC after the last April board meeting in May to specifically review this curriculum for 7th and 8th grade and then to make a recommendation upon review. And then tonight, here I am with that recommendation. Those requirements that are set out are for both human sexuality instruction as well as instruction on the prevention of child abuse, family violence, dating violence, and sex trafficking. Like I said, we met on May 11th for that recommendation to come to fruition. The 7th and 8th grade curriculum, in addition to talking about specific puberty topics, and I received a couple questions from parents from our last, they are specific by gender, male and female. Then we, in that curriculum is abstinence-based. That curriculum also covers any kind of responsibility, so it will address in 7th and 8th grade like any rules with the law that students might need to know, especially in relation to sexual abuse, human trafficking. There are lessons on navigating a digital world, including warnings around sexting, dating, violence, vaping, tobacco, and then just in essence being how to be a good communicator for in your best interest and how to call for help if you need that. So tonight, on behalf of the SHAC committee, I am recommending that the board approve the 7th and 8th grade online curriculum, Living Well Aware, My Choice, My Life. This is the same curriculum that the 6th grade is using. In addition, this is a curriculum that the district has a long-standing history with. We have the author who has come and spoken both with our parents and our SHAC, and so we feel like this is the best interest for our students.
And Deanna, just to be clear, this is the one that is recommended by SHAC, and it is for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We are just recommending 7th and 8th now because 6th grade is already approved.
That is correct. In April, you approved the new version for 6th grade. Now this will be the new version that's included for 7th and 8th. So we will use the same for all 3. I do also want to just remind the board that before any student receives this instruction, a parent must opt in. Opt in is the highest level of approval. That means that a parent must specifically say, I do want my child to receive this instruction. If we do not hear from the parent or if the parent does not request it, the child is placed in a different set of lessons and does not proceed with this curriculum. In addition, this curriculum is typically delivered at the end of the school year. That could always change from one year to the next, but prior to that, parents will have the opportunity every year to review the specific curriculum before their child receives it.
Okay, could you say the name of it again, the title of it?
Yes, I will.
My Life, something?
It's my choice, my life, and that does not, it does not address, I know that specific title, I have gotten a few questions on those. Okay. It does not address anything other than males and females.
Okay. The other question is, you said online curriculum? Do they still do this in a whole class setting, or
so
is it?
The reason we refer to it as an online curriculum is because everything does come from an online medium. However, they are in a classroom with live instructors, but there are lots of videos included in the curriculum. So there's not a textbook or a book that comes with this. It's a database of curriculum online. Parents will also have accessibility to watch some of the videos that kids will see in the program.
Thanks for powering through this. I know everybody, including the committee, was disappointed that, we could only get 6th grade through last time. I'm not sure. I felt like leaving that meeting that maybe we weren't going to get it. And so thanks for powering through and happy to see that we've got it 6 through 8. So thanks.
And we actually got it right
Yeah.
after that board meeting, like the next week, but we felt too rushed to really be able to review it. And so here we are today. But yes, thank you. We're very, very happy with this curriculum.
I have a question and a comment. So can you just maybe clarify a little bit more about how parents will have access to that? How do they get a hold of that, I guess, to preview it?
So typically, prior to the instruction, we will send out, we've sent out in the past like an email. We always encourage parents to be in Skyward, and we'll tell them the curriculum's coming. We'll provide the link for where parents can preview the curriculum. We held in-person times this time. So that parents, if they wanted to, could come up and speak. Jackie Snow was there to answer any questions from parents. And then at the same time, we sent, it was a Google link form for parents to express consent.
I just want to say thanks for allowing parents to do this. I know it's state law, and I had a fifth grader this year, so he had to opt into I think it's Puberty Talks video.
Yes, it is.
And I think this supports our partnership with parents as well, because I was able to go home and watch it and then have conversations with them, even though as awkward as they may. But that's the partnership that I know I can support what is going on at school. Then Andy and I can have those same kind of conversations. So I appreciate that even though it's state law, this is important for parents to be involved with, especially conversations like those. So
It is, and in our in the letter that was sent home, we did re-emphasize with parents that we encourage the parents to have these conversations at home, that you know best what you want your child to hear, you know best what values are in your home, and we encourage parents to please partner with us on such a very delicate but yet very important conversation.
Ms. McDonald, you have a question? Anyone else? Do we have a motion to approve the SHAC recommendation for human sexuality instruction as presented? Mr. Norwood, we have a second? Ms. McDonald? All those in favor? No opposition, that passes.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to reports. Thank you, Dr. Lovesmith.
Deanna, thank you for concluding the superintendent's report this evening as well. I'd like to invite Jennifer Bailey to come on up for an update on Goal 1. As you know, Board, we update you, whether it's in workshops or in regular board presentations, on our progress toward meeting the goals and key progress measures that you adopt every year. Jen's going to lead us through our Goal 1 update.
That's right, Dr. Smith. Goal 1, as you know, is to strengthen and support the engagement of all stakeholders in pursuit of the BISD vision. And specifically tonight, the purpose of my presentation is to update you all on the actions that the district and the campuses have taken in support of the Goal 1 key progress measure. So, over this last year, the district has successfully implemented 2 or more targeted strategies to increase partnership with parents. Some of the activities y'all are very familiar with. They include hosting 5 meetings with our PTA and PTO representatives, and at each meeting we had about 10 campus representatives with us. We hosted our Principal for a Day event back in the spring, and we had 14 guest principals from the community. Many of those were parents, and they had the opportunity to shadow our campus principals for a day and see all of the hats that they wear, and it was quite illuminating. You all attended, and I appreciate it sincerely, our Parents as Partners Conference back in April. We had 9 different organizations there representing different services and programs that parents can use to help their child on their educational journey. And attendance was not what we hoped, but we are a continuous improvement district, and we know that we're laying a solid foundation for future engagement opportunities. And then just a few weeks ago, we had the State of the District celebration where we had 600 different individuals from across this community come together at the Expo Center and celebrate BISD, and it was absolutely fantastic. Many of those folks were, in fact, parents as well. Some of our other strategies, we had parents involved on several key committees, including our long-range planning committee, our bond oversight committee, our book review committee, and our school naming committee. We increased traffic to some key web pages that I told you all about in January. We had a 612% increase on our Parents as Partners page, our 970% increase on our Military Families page. To be fair, that had just launched in January, so the views were pretty low back then. And then we've also increased views to our bond website. In the spring, we also launched a parent engagement survey, and we have 13,650 students across our district. 38% of those students were represented by the participation in their survey. And our survey company that y'all approved, Gibson, remarked and said that that was incredible, and they really applauded us for our efforts to get parents to participate in that survey. And we are obviously using their feedback to guide some of our improvement efforts. At the campus level, I'm happy to report that 100% of BISD campuses successfully implemented 2 or more targeted strategies to increase partnerships with parents. Those activities included having additional parent involvement opportunities. Back in the summer, we talked to y'all about the Watchdogs program. Many of our campuses implemented that. Many campuses hosted additional events and invited parents on the campus. Those included literacy nights, STEAM nights, math nights. They had parents as guest readers. They had career fairs. They had coffee with the principal. I mean, you name it. They really worked hard to have events to bring parents onto campus. And then since COVID, many of our PTAs and PTOs, the participation had taken a slump naturally because parents weren't allowed on campuses. And so our campuses have taken an extra effort this year trying to rebuild their PTAs and PTOs, and we're trying to support them as well. But that's also an effort they've taken on this year. And so as far as our key progress measure goes, each campus and central office will implement 2 or more new targeted strategies to increase partnerships with parents by May 2023. I'm very pleased to say that we have met that goal. And as y'all know, I think one of the ways that our efforts this year were reflected in our parent engagement survey, as y'all know, 84% of our parents responded that they have trust in Belton ISD, and 87% remarked that they have pride in Belton ISD. And I think it is because y'all led this charge to partner with parents, and I think it's really paid off. What questions do you have?
So when we did our PTA, PTO gathering that one day, one of the things that came out of that time together was a real excitement about the potential of campuses partnering with each other. And I don't know if there's been any progress on that or if there's been a way for them to help build those bridges, but a lot of them were very interested in helping each other.
Yes, I would say that momentum has continued. Our last meeting this past year was in May, and we're going to meet again, and we're going to meet monthly next year. And they want to strategize. They want to not plan events on top of each other so that the community can support everyone equally. And they want to strategize on the best ways to fundraise, the best way to get other parents involved. So there's definitely momentum, and we want to do what we can to support that collaboration because there's power in numbers.
Not a question, but just a comment. I mean, we know our kids do best when our parents are involved. Right? It takes the entire village, right? All of us. And so it's been really exciting to participate in some of these things personally. I know I talked for a little while last time about that, so I won't do that again. But extremely powerful. So I think we've planted some great roots, and I can't wait to see where this continues to grow going forward.
Thank you.
Ms. McDonald?
Well, I wasn't, but you called me out. So, this PTA partnership and collaboration is one of the things that I am most excited about. Being a former PTA member and having held offices in the Miller Heights PTA area, this is so exciting because, it felt like when I was there that I was on an island unto myself. And so to see the district jump in and help with that collaboration, that's exciting. Thank you guys.
One of the things I want to give Jen credit on some things. She's done an excellent job not only navigating a superintendent who has a lot of opinions on some of these things, but also trying to make sure that we're reaching out and pulling people into our schools and into our community more and more and more. And so, example, State of the District, that was, a dream that we had, and Jen made it come to life. The PTA collaboration that you all had with them in that one meeting, those meetings continued. We don't invite the board to every one of those meetings, but those meetings continued so that we were able to continue to meet with leaders and build off of the things that we have the foundation. And so, as Chris said, we have some great roots that have been established for us, and we're looking forward to the fruition of cultivating that growing and rich environment for our parents as partners work in Belton ISD.
Jen, the State of the District event that we had, that was impressive. I tell you the truth, I didn't really know what to expect when I arrived there. And then all the things that I saw that these kids were doing, it's just, and then the involvement by the community, that was so impressive. So great job with, I know you told you that before, but gosh, that was impressive. And it's always good to meet your goal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So thank you for that.
I think I told y'all our State of the District was Candace's first day, so she jumped in and just got to it, and I really appreciate her being a part of our team.
So you said you saw kids pursuing their dreams and enriching their communities.
Absolutely.
The vision at work.
Oh, yeah, one of the things that was so impressive is we have some artists in this district that are young kids. I mean, these kids could market their work and sell it. I mean, that's how good they are. So thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Smith, item B.
Item B, bond projects report. This is the other one that Mike Morgan's coming up for, and then the district safety report. So Mike will walk us through these next two items and give you an overview of not only how things are progressing with our bond funds that were approved by our voters, but also some work that we've been doing regarding safety and security as a school district.
I'm extremely pleased and proud to be here tonight. Once again, just as a reminder of thanks for the commitment, not only of you, our board, but of our community in helping bring to life these projects that are going to benefit kids for decades to come. So tonight I will be here to give you update progress on active 2022 bond projects. Currently, we have 6 active construction projects with 4 more that will begin as soon as we are able to get started. So in the coming months, we'll have 10 active construction projects going on, and we're really excited about that. Cannot speak highly enough, not only of our BISD team, the partnership of our facilities and construction, our purchasing, our technology, our teaching and learning staff, all of the principals, all of the others that have contributed in all the different ways up to this point to see it all come together. And we're really excited about where things are headed. I'm going to start with project timelines. This is a pretty nice picture. It's a drone view, and I'll kind of highlight some of the progress that's going on through the photos in this presentation as well. This is a drone view of Burrell from as little as 2 weeks ago, and it's just extraordinary from week to week how much work is going on at these sites, especially at our 2 elementary sites at this time. This is the active project timeline that we run. It's on our bond website. It's something that we're trying to we're trying to come up with strategies to promote and get more and more families and more community members to utilize that website as a resource to kind of gauge and see the progress. Very happy to say now that the active construction projects at the top are all proceeding on schedule. And just as a general reminder, for everything except for Burrell Elementary, as far as our new construction, we are shooting for a summer 24 completion so that we can have kids in those facilities for the 24-25 school year. For Burrell Elementary, as we've spoken about, we are en route to a late fall substantial completion and a January move-in for those students that are zoned to Burrell Elementary. So we're really excited about hitting those timelines. You can see there that in addition to the new construction, we also will have some pretty substantial upgrades and renovations to the current CTE building and some interior finishes there at Belton High School. So those are the ones that are outlined up to this point. We have future projects, and I'm going to go into a little more detail later, but we hope to get Delta Project, our technology infrastructure, our accessibility and cameras in our ag facility and our safety vestibules on this timeline very quickly. Project updates. I want to take a moment to briefly update where each project is. I thought this picture was particularly intriguing. It's from last week, and it is from the vantage point if you were on the western side of the campus at Burrell Elementary and you were looking at the second grade wing or learning pod, and that's what you would see at this point. So that is the second grade is kind of the northernmost on the western side of the building, and it will be the one that builds out first, but work throughout the rest of the building is progressing very quickly. Here are a couple more pictures from the interior. You can see the interior of that same second grade learning wing, and you can also see to the right, this is the administrative area, all of the office space for all of our inclusion and interventionists and things like that being framed in. This picture's from last week as well. The work this summer is exciting. Exterior wall framing, roofing and windows, interior wall framing, the MEP, I will say that we hit a milestone last week, and that is the permanent power is in place and is ready to be turned on. That's if you've been following construction and heard some of our conversations over the last 18 months, permanent power and transformers and switch gear and some of those things have been difficult to get, and so we're very pleased to say that those items are all in place. Exterior masonry is going up daily. Interior, we're seeing drywall. Things are starting to be taped, floated, and painted. HVAC, our air conditioners are supposed to start arriving next week, and then we should see ceiling grids and interior finishes start to be put in over the summer at Burrell Elementary. So it's definitely from week to week, it's a different looking school and a different looking environment on how quickly our team and our construction team is working. Hubbard Branch Elementary. You can see an aerial site there. That aerial site is back from earlier in May. You can also see there we completed our third concrete pour this morning. And you can see that the things that will happen over the summer is storm drainage infrastructure, structural concrete installation. We will start to go vertical with structural steel framing, and they will start to do the CMU walls. So we are moving very rapidly on this project as well, and are really excited with the construction team that we have there and the work that's being done. Grouped BHS and Lake Belton Middle School additions together. The pictures don't tell a great story. There you can see the trailers for the construction, for core construction being moved on site as their headquarters, and you can see some of the construction fencing that's gone up at Lake Belton Middle School. But when we have our next update, it will look very differently than this because we are seeing demolition is going on last week and this week, relocating portables at Belton High, starting to relocate site utilities to make way for the new construction, and then we'll see structural concrete being installed and steel structural framing starting to begin as well. And then we'll see a similar process going through at Lake Belton Middle School as well. They may actually be a few days ahead of Belton High School at this point. Southwest Elementary, as we approve GMP3 tonight, which will further that progress, we will see demolition occurring of the existing gym. We've already moved the music portable so that we can use it for the 23-24 year before it's removed and when the new music room comes online. Site utilities are being relocated, and then you'll see the beginning of the structural concrete and slab, and then structural steel framing will begin to go up this summer as well. Our ag facility and Delta facility, we have been moving rapidly, and we've been in a series of evolving in these. So for our ag facility, which you can see a draft of the current rendition of that, preliminary pricing came in. Metal buildings are coming in high, and our initial design was a little larger square footage wise. So we've been in a work with our ag teachers, with our CTE leadership, and with our design team to come back and work on ways that we could get some preliminary pricing down. Happy to report that we had a successful meeting this morning. Our ag teachers and met with the architect and the design team. Based on that teacher feedback, we're hoping to get to a point where we will be ready to proceed, and the revised plans will be modified, and we should be able to go out for bid later this summer on our ag facility. Delta facilities in a similar state that we are preliminary pricing came in a little high, so the design team is working and we'll be meeting with our SPED department in the coming days to talk about some of the ideas that we've came up with, and we should be ready to get down to choosing a final site for that facility and being ready to go out and get bid for that so we can get construction started this fall on that facility as well. Finally, here's land safety buses and technology. I grouped these together. From a transportation standpoint, you can actually see pictures of some of the new buses that we've gotten. 15 77 passenger buses and 5 55 passenger special needs buses came in the first order, and that's going to substantially increase not only the additional pressure that growing enrollment has put on our transportation fleet, but also some of the aging vehicles that we'll now be able to take offline. As approved at last month's meeting, there were 2 resolutions for us to start to work to negotiate some land purchases, and so we are in the process of feasibility periods for a future elementary site in the southern part of the district and on a strategic location that will benefit New Tech High School and Belton Early Childhood Center, or Belton Early Childhood School on Bill Street, and we'll have updates coming back on that as we work through that process with the seller of each. Technology, have our first round of technology from our Proposition B, which will be 4,000 Chromebooks and 338 charging carts. And then for our safety and security, you can see a picture there of some of the preliminary work at High Point Elementary and the removal of existing mulch and gravel and putting in curbs and sidewalks. When the curbs and sidewalks have been poured, then we'll come back and put the safe fall protection down around all existing playground equipment at all elementary campuses, and we're really excited about that. Right now, we're 8 days, as of this morning, we're 8 days ahead of schedule on our playground, and we should be finished in early August, so all campuses should be complete when kids return for school. We spoke briefly earlier about our campus safety vestibule. By choosing the delivery method, we're nearing completion of construction documents, and once that's done, we will go out to bid. And as I said earlier, we will begin construction on the secure vestibules as soon as contractor is chosen and materials can be put in place to get that construction going. Last month, we chose True North Technologies as our project manager for our keyless access locks and to add, replace, and repair security cameras. They are in the process of designing that system district-wide. They will be helping us as our project manager, but our local team will evaluate bids when they're ready to go out for bidding, and construction will begin on that project as soon as a contractor is chosen and materials can be aligned. We will be coming to you next month with final pricing for our exterior lighting upgrades and our water refill station upgrades. Both of those will be in full swing by the time kids come back in mid-August. Shatterproof film, our Shatterproof film team is in town. They are taking final measurements these first few days. They begin on June 12th, and they will start on the northern side of our district and start installation of the shatterproof and shatter-resistant film for all exterior entrances and adjacent windows. That is expected to be complete before the end of July and will be in place before staff comes back. And then our campus security fencing, that's the one that we are kind of evaluating what the TEA updated their facility recommendations on May 31st, so we've had those for about 10 days now. Also looking at some other items that could be coming in the special sessions. So we do have some money allotted in our bond for campus security fencing, and we're going to make sure we know exactly what TEA is going to expect before we finalize a proposal in that regard. So basically all of our safety items that were approved on the bond, with the exception of campus security fencing, are either in construction, nearing construction, or will be in construction as soon as we get our contractors chosen. I know I went really fast, and I know that's a lot. I can't speak, like I said, I can't speak highly enough of all of the different architects, the different contractors, the different stakeholders, and just all of our district staff, particularly campus principals and directors of these different programs that have been involved almost weekly since we started the design back last fall on these projects. So very, very pleased with the progress, and can't wait to see projects start to finish up.
Any questions for Mike? Comments? Ms. Floor?
Hey, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. All I'm seeing is CTE field trips. I don't want to slow anything down, but there could be a lot of cool stuff to see for the classes. When you were going through and talking about demo starting in certain places, right? We got to Southwest Elementary. What I thought about was, hey, wait, didn't we put a new HVAC system in there relatively recently? Are we able to repurpose and reuse some of that?
We are. So
Okay.
for like the gymnasium, and
Right.
that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I think that's been within 3 years. We put air conditioning in the gymnasium at Southwest Elementary, Miller Heights,
Yeah.
and at Leon Heights. So as the Southwest gym is taken down, we will repurpose as much of that HVAC equipment and heat as we can. Same thing's true next year as Miller Heights comes offline. If we can repurpose any of that HVAC equipment, we will as well. So we also did about a $400,000 AC upgrade at Southwest last summer that was all on the western portion of the campus, primarily the cafeteria and those adjacent areas. That will not be impacted by this as well. So.
I also see field trips coming too. You know, with the facilities committee last year, we got to go see Burrell, and that was exciting, because next school year, looking at that timeline, it's going to be so fun and exciting to see all of these finish. And I know that y'all will bring us updates as things finish with more visuals, but it would be great, whether it's maybe CTE videos, or that we could actually go and see. Sure. But it would be really awesome to see some of these in person as they finish. I don't know how that works, but that would be cool.
I hear more than CTE field trips. I'm hearing board field
That's
trips.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was saying board field trips too.
assuming.
I will join this.
We'll
the
put it
student
this way,
field
I
trips.
can work on the board field trips, and we can make sure that you see construction projects in action, and then I'll have Gabby and Stephanie Ferguson help us get rolling with some connections to some of our CTE programs in our district, because that makes a whole lot of sense.
Thank you, Mike, for that comprehensive
Thank
report.
y'all.
Good job. Moving on to the superintendent's report, Dr. Smith.
No, he's got a whole nother one. He only did the bond part of it. Now he's got the district safety.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
now we have the
okay.
district safety report. Go ahead, Mike.
I do, and I'm very pleased to bring this report to y'all tonight as well. It's a testament to a district that has committed to staff that can focus on safety, and very, very proud of all of our safety staff and the specific roles that they play, from our leadership and Dr. Spearman and Doug Taylor and Pete Ramirez and Cynthia Bodie. In our campus leadership, there's been a real commitment to safety, as I'm going to cover in some of the report tonight, at the campus level, and an investment in their facilities and in their kids, and then also balancing that with our partnerships with law enforcement, all of our local law enforcement partners, and in working with TEA and Texas School Safety Center, and not only managing compliance areas, but also in being good partners with them and being able to give them feedback so that they can give good recommendations statewide and things as well. So this is a report that we don't do often, so it is a little more comprehensive than some of the reports. But tonight I hope to give you a review of school safety and security programs and discuss some of our ongoing work. I will, as a follow-up to, I believe, a presentation that we made in April, and that is to give you an update on Texas School Safety Center audit. This is a 3-year audit required by law, required in Texas Education Code, and it has several key elements, really 5 key elements to the audit, and that is a complete district facility safety and security audit checklist. So we go campus by campus, partner with campus leadership teams, go to all of our ancillary facilities like support services, warehouse, transportation, facilities, grounds, and basically go through the state mandated checklist at each one of those and come back with a report of each. Our school facility characteristics and surrounding environment. We worked on a policy with our policy committee a couple of months ago to make sure that we had included things like if you have a railroad tracks adjacent to or in proximity to one of your campuses, you had to, by policy, you had to have a plan, a mitigation plan for any type of derailment or spill or anything like that at that. So that's kind of when it starts talking about school facility characteristics, surrounding environment, those types of things. Is there a highway near your school? Are there train tracks near your school? Those sorts of things. Student, parent, and staff surveys. Jen mentioned our partnership with parents and the high parent rate that we had. We also had a high student and we had high staff participation rates on our surveys. And each one of those gave us important data on how our students and parents feel about safety in our schools and in areas where they had concerns. Document reviews, all of making sure that our EOPs and emergency operating procedures, appendixes, all those types of things are in place. And then intruder assessments, and I'll get into that a little deeper as we move on. So all the key elements were included in our campus-by-campus detailed information, and we had a lot of people working on this at different levels within their own facilities as well. Next steps, so tonight we are kind of speaking with the board. We have presented this information to our District Safety and Security Committee and taken their feedback. There is a round of feedback that we will gather from our superintendent and from our board of trustees as well. So those 3 steps will be completed, and then we will make a final report. We will submit it to the Texas School Safety Center. Our goal would be to have that submitted by late July. That's about a month ahead of the mandated deadline of August 31st. In the process, and I'll talk about our monthly campus safety meetings, is making sure that we have opportunities to have great discussions with our campus administrators, facility administrators, to review the findings, talk about the respective audit, and make recommendations for areas of safety improvement, and then finally conduct the annual reviews of the safety audit report. So as we continue through the 23-24, 24-25 school year, to go back and see what our findings were and make sure that we are doing the best we can to move that work forward. So for the bond safety projects, I kind of went into a little detail during the bond. It was kind of whichever presentation came up first, I was going to go into more detail on it. But one of the things is just to reiterate the thanks to our community for allowing us to have over $6 million investment in safety projects, and recognizing to do that in May of 2022 as the people, when the people came to the polls. But we are expecting, like I said, the only thing that we will not have a final recommendation on at this point is the campus safety fencing, because we just recently received the TEA updated guidelines. But everything else is either in construction, in action, or we'll have final recommendations to come back for the purchasing next month at the board meeting. So we feel like we're in a good spot of trying to get these programs rolling. I want to give a follow-up on School Safety Task Force. Last summer we spoke with you about, we thought that it was important to bring our community stakeholders together. So last summer we brought together over 100 people, over 100 community members. And there were parents, students, teachers, administrators, law enforcement, first responders, and mental health professionals. And we ended up spending over 4 hours together, and we went through a protocol, and we gave everyone opportunities to be heard. And at the end, we did some individual prioritizations. And I wanted to come back. These were the top priorities that were established by our School Safety Task Force last summer. And now that we're about 11 months out from that work, I wanted to come back and say, of the top priorities, we've been able as a district to do work in all of these areas. So one is the promotion, education, marketing, anonymous alerts. That was the thing that came out at the top. One of the things we know that we have to have if one of our students or one of our parents or one of our staff members knows that something's not right, we want them to be able to get that information to people who can actually do something about it. And one of the ways we wanted to do that was with our anonymous alerts. I will say, and this is raw data, we have not I haven't gone through yet, or we haven't gone through yet as a team and tried to weed out any duplicates, or if we had multiple alerts about a same event or anything like that. But I will say, I want to think that our promotion, education, and marketing was successful this year, because we had over 2,300 anonymous alerts that came in this year, as opposed to 541 in 21-22 and 318 in 2021. So that was through campus newsletters, through student safety committees, through just promoting it with posters and things like that on our campuses, but making sure that kids knew that if something's going on or something that we need to know about, or staff or parents, that anonymous alert tool is there for you to let our campus and district administrators know what's going on. Technology access for teachers. We think that we made some strides through Navigate 360 this year in both training and buy-in from staff, that if an event occurs, that the Navigate 360 is something that they can go to and use. We also have, with a almost all new technology team in place, trying to work with our campuses to assess any areas where we may not have the access to Wi-Fi that's consistent, so that everyone has that access all the time to get to our Navigate 360, our emergency management tool. Create campus student safety committees. That wasn't actually an idea that was proposed by students. So one of the students that was on our safety task force said, I would like to see us have student safety committees. And so we came up with some guidelines, but we allowed each campus we asked each campus to kind of come up with their own process to manage what would work best for them. And I want to highlight one of our safety committees on the next slide in the presentation, but I will say that some incredible work was done. And as we always know, that when we ask our students to weigh in and when we ask our students to get involved, they always do a great job. So I'll give you a couple of great examples of that in a second. So I have two of these in red, and I'll cover those both together. So our safety task force felt that it was important to make sure that we not only assess door and access security, including visibility, locking systems, and keyless entry, and then utilize technology for increased security with cameras, doors, radios, alarms. Those things are being addressed. They're being addressed through bond projects. They're being addressed through TEA safety grant. And, we've implemented a district-wide set of emergency radios at the last round of TEA safety allotment 2 years ago. So we have used our TEA money, and we're using our bond money wisely, and we're addressing some of these things that not only we believe are important, but we're also priorities for our school safety task force as well. Additional first aid and safety tools. Mary Lisa Fanning and her team in health services does a great job with this. I want to highlight one of the things whenever we talk about our district safety committee, and then additional CRACE training, emergency response training, and drills. So I'll say that we go above and beyond, and we exceed the state mandates for drills at each campus throughout the year, but also say that we extended the time that we'll have our safety teams on campus, and so we've added additional CRACE training and additional time for us to train staff in a campus by campus in our August in-service, and we've extended that to 3 hours per campus now to do our CRACE training and SRP. And so we feel like, a year later, and to go back and look at the top 8 or 9 items that our safety task force prioritized, we feel like we've made gains in each one of those. So I'm going to highlight Lakewood Elementary. That they're one of 19 campuses that did work around student safety committees, but they did some really remarkable work. And you can see in the pictures here, you can see the team working. You can see some of the posters that they made to put up around school and put up in the restrooms about restroom expectations. You can also see to the right some of the work they did on educating their students about tattling versus reporting. So I asked Ashley Thomas and Christy Chandler to give me some good examples of some things they did, and they gave me a whole long list of them. So I do want to highlight the top 2 or 3 that I thought were really cool and really spoke highly to the leadership of our students. So they brainstormed. One of the things that they saw from their own safety data is that some students said they didn't feel safe in their restroom. So the student safety committee brainstormed possible solutions for students and then brainstormed possible solutions. They worked on, one of the solutions they chose was to reinforce behavior expectations by hanging posters on the backside of each bathroom stall. The students then created posters and hung them up on their own. They created a video of reporting versus tattling, where students wrote the scripts, they directed it, they acted it out, and they aired it on the morning news announcements on campus. So student-led work about being responsible and reporting things that needed to be reporting. And then its students monitored and checked classroom doors 3 times a week. So part of the safety committee's responsibility was they actively helped with the checking of doors to make sure that we were following the safest practices in our protocols. So those are just a few of the things. I actually had 5 or 6 more that they did. And I've heard great stories from our high school campuses, from our middle school campuses, and throughout the district. I think you're going to see that the students were taking an active role in safety leadership on their campuses. District School Safety Committee, I won't go into a lot of detail on these, but these were some of the highlights, some of our tabletop activities. This is a state-required entity that has to meet, we're required to meet 3 times a year. We meet 8 times a year, so I think that we definitely think that this is a valuable partnership for us. We have parents on the district safety committee, we have first responders, we have law enforcement, we have district administrators, we have campus administrators. And some of the highlights this year is we talked about strategies for parent communications during an emergency. That was one of the things that our safety task force recommended that we take a hard look at. And so this is one of the elements where we got input on that. Anonymous alerts, we did some work around that, and that was also one of our task force priorities. Lessons from the Uvalde report, response to utility loss. We had 3 different incidents this year where we lost power at campuses, and another time where we lost water on a campus. So we actually did some work with our district school safety committee about what does that look like and what can we do as a district to really be prepared for that when and if it happens. Our medical emergency team, MERT team response. One of the things, opioid and fentanyl practicals. So we did some work, some tabletops around that, but I also want to say this team, our district school health services team, and our board facilities committee, I feel like we were ahead of the game, that we changed policy this year to get opioid inhibitors or opioid antagonist medication, which would be particularly effective in any type of a fentanyl overdose on campuses. We already have staff trained and we already have those things in place, and it was because we adopted a policy change and we're able to do that. Much like we were able to do, and y'all supported us on the having the epinephrine, the unassigned epinephrine on campus several years ago. And then campus lockdown exercises. We all know that the thing that the most critical of our standard response protocols is campus lockdown. So this is another team that we try to do some work around on that regard. And then there's a few district initiatives as we wind up. Just some things that we're doing because we know they're important and we know they're the right things to do. One is constant and strong partnerships with area law enforcement, and that includes all of the 3 local police departments, our local sheriff's office, and other agencies. We believe that it starts and ends with strong partnerships with our area law enforcement, and we're appreciative of them and thankful for the job that they do. Last week, we had an active shooter tabletop with City of Temple, which included City of Temple Emergency Management, City of Temple Fire and Rescue, City of Temple Police Department, our Lake Belton High School administrative team, our Belton High School administrative team, district administrators, and Baylor Scott and White, and other stakeholders as well. And we had an 8 to 12 4-hour tabletop where we learned a lot, we built stronger partnerships, and we were able to practice the response that each different entity would have in the event of a mass event like that. Then we also do policy adoption, as I mentioned earlier. We also will have our 3rd annual BISD Safety Summit on July 24th. That is where we will bring all of our campus administrators, counselors, nurses, and most of our district administrators together to spend a full day working on safety topics and building our safety best practices as we head into the 23-24 school year. We also do monthly one-on-one meetings, our safety team, goes to each campus one-on-one, and they individually go through campus safety needs, drills, things like that. Multiple daily checks of campus exterior doors. We are not required to do it multiple times daily, and we're only required to record it once weekly by TEA, but we do it multiple times daily. And then expansion of campus security guards. We were able to add a campus security guard to each middle school this year, and the feedback we've gotten is that it made a significant difference. And then finally, our partnership with Texas Education Agency. We did have a series of intruder audits that started in September of 2022. The TEA did name a new chief of safety and security in October. The school safety standards that were adopted and came out on May 31st, and we feel like that as a team that we are in a really good spot with most of those safety standards with the work that's already been done. And then we were able to boost some of our safety things with the TEA safety grant. This last spring, we were able to invest back into our district-wide emergency radio system. Much of our shatterproof and shatter-resistant film was funded through this grant. And then the requirement to have all campus buildings and all campus exterior doorways labeled consistently throughout the district and throughout the state. We're all able to be done with that safety grant. So I apologize for going a little longer than normal tonight. We don't do this report often, but I do think it's very important, and we wanted to make sure that you guys had a fairly comprehensive report of things going on in our areas of safety and security. I would take any questions or discussion at this time.
Any questions? Mr. Floor?
I was going to let Mike take a breath for a second.
Yeah.
Just as a parent with, 3 kids across 2 campuses, I just want to say thank you to the entire team, right, for everything that's going on. I know we don't talk about this a lot, and to some extent that's intentional because you don't want people who maybe have bad ideas to know exactly what's going on, right? But this has been a great, really comprehensive overview into a lot of awesome stuff that's going on. And, to tie this back to the vision, right, I mean, we can't do any of that if kids go to school and don't feel safe. We can't do that if parents don't feel like their kids can go to school safely. I mean, this all ties into the greater vision. And so, thank you so much for everything that's going on to keep my kids safe, but the 13,000 plus others too.
Thank you. Well, there's literally hundreds of people on a daily basis involved in our safety program, and it takes a lot of coordination from this team out here that are here tonight to get that done, and then much investment in our campus level on top of all the other things that they're expected to do each day too. So we're really appreciative and proud of the work that each of those individuals put in on a day-to-day basis. We have 650 students at Chisholm Trail every day right now, and it's school, so we're our safety plans are in place there as well. So.
Mike, you mentioned the school safety center, the report that goes to them. What happens with that after they receive it? Right now they are taking. Initially, it seemed like it was kind of a data collection and data compiling. Now we actually, and we're very appreciative of this, have seen Texas School Safety Center have the resources to take a little more active role with EOPs, and we expect with this audit data that they will come back and help you with the findings and help you put corrective measures or plans in place for things that you need to do better. So that would be the hope, is we want that to be a partnership, and we want them to say, here are resources for you school districts, take these and use them, and let's try to improve best practices to keep kids safe. So. Thank you, Mike, for that comprehensive report. Oh,
Add
you
on?
have a
Yeah,
question?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to add on and echo that sentiment. I mean, thank you for the thorough report. And that was a lot to put in just for tonight, but the work on safety has been going on for a long time. And I know there's other integral people in the room, Pete and Doug and Spearman and Ms. Fanning has been on a lot of this work. I want to say that as a board member, Jeff and I have gotten to be on the District Safety and Security Committee this year, and I'll probably speak for Jeff a little bit, but that was really helpful as board members to attend those. I know I learned a ton, and the insight that I gained personally from parents, from other administrators, from law enforcement, just sitting and talking to them each month was really invaluable and really insightful. And so I'm thankful that we got to be a part of that this year. I know that was state mandated, but sometimes state mandates aren't always a bad thing. So I'm assuming those will continue.
They will. They
Okay.
will. I think our next one is in July.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because we knew this meeting was coming, because they've kept us informed all along. And so I appreciate those meetings. They were facilitated well, and a lot of great things came out of those meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Now we go to the superintendent's report.
Very enthralling report coming that Deanna's already covered for us this evening. Looking forward to the superintendent's report. Again, this is for us to talk a little bit about our strategic direction and our strategic plan, where we're going and what we've seen over the past couple of months. Goal 2, exceptional learning that we work on. This is about ensuring that every student, each and every student in our system, has the ability to engage in levels of learning that we maybe only could dream of in the past. We want students to be so engaged that they feel excitement day one of their kindergarten year to the last day of their senior year, and that when they leave us, they have a love of learning and growth. That's a tall order, but we want to accomplish that because we believe by creating these individualized experiences that promote dreams of the future and empowers them to pursue those dreams, that we have the ability to ensure that every student, when they leave us, that their learning does not stop at that point. Graduation, as Suzanne mentioned earlier, graduation is really the culmination of all of that. So thank you for participating in graduation, but importantly, tying it back to our vision that we talked about earlier this evening, is we continue to move forward for the future. Every student that walks across the stage, we want them to be empowered about their next steps when they leave us. We want every student to leave our system aware, eligible, and prepared for those next steps that they have in life, whether that be joining the military, going straight into the workforce, entering a 4-year college, a 2-year college, doing an apprenticeship, whatever it might be. We want them to know what they're doing, have a good plan for it, and be able to be well prepared for it. The well prepared part, the academics, the journey of a graduate, this diploma means something when they achieve this, that we want the quality of our learning to be able to ensure that students can thrive at the next level, no matter what that is. But we also want to make sure that there's a clear plan for every one of them. What we don't want is a graduate that walks across the stage and gets a diploma and doesn't know what those next steps are. And most importantly, that they actually know what they could be and they're ready to pursue those dreams for the future. Part of that is extending learning for our students in our system. And we saw some of our students tonight, and yes, they were engaged in square dancing, which brought back a whole lot of very awkward memories from elementary school. But at the same time, you see evidence in these pictures of things that they're working on a regular basis to do. We want to engage students in the arts. We want to engage students in dancing and performing arts. We want to engage students in math and reading and technology use over the summertime. The more we can enhance the learning experience for kids through the summer, we're increasing time on task for them to learn and find those things that they're passionate about. And so our approach to summer school, as we mentioned in a report a month or so ago with Holly, is different than other districts. We don't want it to be all remediation, and we do want it to be something that inspires and empowers kids for the future. We're really proud of what's going on. And as Mike said, when you got 650 kids at Chisholm Trail Elementary School every day right now, some people wonder what we're doing in the summer. School doesn't stop. Like we're still pursuing what we want to pursue in Belton ISD through these experiences. Another part of this is that we continue to focus on learning and growth for adults. Jen mentioned earlier in her presentation our focus on continuous improvement. As a leadership team, we get together in something we call a retreat. Now, some people say, well, what kind of retreat do you go on? It's not a big fancy retreat. We go to UMHB right here within our district, and we use their facilities thanks to their partnership there. During that time, we spent time working together, looking back at the last year, reflecting on our progress that we made over the last year, and then starting to look forward to the future of the next school year. We want to be able to focus on continuous improvement and say as an administrative team, this is what we've done really well, and these are the things that we really have to get after over the next year. And that's what leadership team retreats are truly about. We also want to, by having administrators attend those, empower those administrators to do great things as well. Every administrator deserves an investment in their growth and improvement as an individual administrator. So we want a toolkit every year when they leave any meetings that we have, and especially in these leadership retreats, we want a toolkit to be able to be provided to them to say, this is what I can rely on as an administrator. I've been given the tools and the training to succeed in this area. We heavily focused in our first part of leadership retreat this year on building a purposeful community, meaning at every school that they have a purpose and goals that they're pursuing, that they know how to actually build a collective sense of, we call it collective efficacy, but a collective sense that they together can achieve more than they could alone. And by using that idea of building off of the strengths of everybody involved, we know we can do better things for each and every one of our schools. So we spent time on that. As Mike mentioned, I won't go into detail, that active shooter table talk activity. It's another tool in our tool belt, is to be able to think through and prepare for events should we need to be prepared for them. The student services update, their summit and the safety summit are things that we have employed over the past couple of years to ensure that we're getting better every year at the technical aspects of our job regarding student services and safety, that we're creating more consistent guidelines across our district for student behavior, for student coaching of behavior, and for the enforcement of discipline practices in our system. And then finally, Leadership Team Retreat Part 2 coming up is really going to be heavily focused on finalizing those items that allow us to build next year into a successful year. And so it's really looking at our improvement plans and finalizing what we need to do as an administrative team moving forward. I want to thank you all for your participation in graduation and all of the events at the end of the year. We believe that exceptional learning will never come to fruition for each and every student in our system if we're not dedicated as an entire team of administrators and board members to ensure that it happens. It's a tall order, and some people say it's a dream, but it's a dream worth pursuing for us in Belton ISD. So thank you, board members, for your participation.
Any discussion? Thank you, Dr. Smith. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull an item for discussion? Nope. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Ms. Lee, do we have a second? Ms. Bass, all in favor? No opposition, that passes. At this time, are there any requests for new information or reports from the administrative team? Nope. As a reminder, we have the following upcoming events that are on your calendar. Wednesday, June 14 through Saturday, June 17, Summer Leadership Institute, San Antonio. I think there are several of us attending that. Tuesday, July 4th, 4th of July Parade. I think you received an email today from Becca about participating in the parade. Monday, July 10th, Board Officer Agenda Planning Meeting, and Monday, July 17th, Workshop and Regular Board Meeting. Now proceed with public comments regarding non-agenda items. Becca, do we have anybody? No? It is now 7:56, and the board will now go into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code subchapters D and E. Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney, the Texas Government Code, section 551.071. Personnel matters, Texas Government Code, section 551.074. And deliberations regarding security infrastructure, Texas Government Code, section 551.089. The time is now 8:41 PM, and the board will now reconvene in open session. There being no further business, the meeting is now adjourned at 8:41 PM.